Welcome to Creating Connections Podcast, episode 155. I am Mitch Taylor.
And I'm Vicki Musney.
And today we're digging into chapter 14 of our book, Creating Connections, 31 Days to Building Stronger and Deeper Relationships. And chapter 14 is Use Social Media Wisely.
Yes, this is the very end of the section on creating connections with clients. So the focus of that chapter is on social media and how you interact with people that either have hired you or might be considering hiring you.
And boy, do we have an acronym for you. Learn the acronym after the break.
That was nice and easy.
What are you talking about? This also speaks to a much bigger issue.
Providing personal solutions through understanding people. This is the Creating Connections Podcast with Gitomer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor and Certified Personality Trainer Vicki Musney.
Welcome back to Creating Connections Podcast, episode 155. I am Mitch Taylor.
And I'm Vicki Musney.
And today we're talking about social media.
So, Mitch, you mentioned acronyms. We got to come back to that.
Okay. Let's try not to go there right off the bat. Normally forefront in my mind. Oh.
Well, you and I both love our acronyms, but this one isn't even ours.
No, it's not ours.
So, but they're easy to remember, and this is why this worked for us. And it is something that we learned from a social media connection. But let's talk. You want to talk about social media connection first, and then come back?
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
I guess I love social media, and I see so much potential for creating good connections with people. But I also see so many instances where I feel like it is misused and abused and can damage relationships.
Swipe left.
It just, oh goodness. So I don't know. I get it. People, like, I love Facebook. It's where I have lived for the last 10 years as where I connect with people. And I have actually said, I don't know how to be friends with this person because they're not on Facebook. Like, I don't know how to keep in touch. I don't know how to invite you to things. Like, this is where I live, and I really struggle. And there are a few people that I will just make sure I text from time to time, but no, they don't really get to know what's going on in my life. And I don't really feel like I know what's going on in theirs very well compared to the level of connecting I have with social media.
And you're only getting the happy picture.
Most of the time. Yeah. I mean, there are those people that vent. But yeah, by choice, honestly, though, I try to focus on the positive on social media. I don't like that to be my outlet. I will tend to vent often to you, to other friends, one at a time, on the phone or FaceTime or whatever. My family sometimes does get the brunt of my venting and when I'm upset.
Okay, can we get back to the acronym?
Oh, I thought you wanted to save that till the end.
Sorry.
Social media. Social media is so great for connecting with people, I think. Yeah. And I love friending my clients. And I do it with intentionality, though, Mitch. I do it because I want my clients to see a bit of my personal life. And I also want my family and friends to be reminded of my professional life from time to time. And I approach it with a really balanced mix.
Yeah, you're the one who basically educated me on lists.
Yes, I love lists.
That was huge for me, honestly. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, no, I have lists because I don't want to bombard my friends and family. So sometimes when I'm sharing things like links to the podcast and things like that, I have a separate list for event pros and DJ friends and professional connections that I will share that with. If I'm sharing a lot of professional speaking tips or whatever, I have a separate list for other pro speakers. Or if it's about, NSA conference related things or whatever, I'll just focus it on that audience.
Yes.
And, but a lot of the stuff I do, I think through every post, who do I want to see this? What might this person think? Would I want a client to see me post this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just an important question to ask.
What would grandma say?
Yeah. And I guess that, Mitch, if you want to share Courtney's acronym, now would probably be the appropriate time to do that.
Courtney's acronym that she so
eloquently
so eloquently put and blessed us with, and Courtney's acronym was think it through seriously.
So yeah, I still don't understand why that was one of my most read blog posts ever.
I have no idea.
When I shared that acronym, think it through seriously. But the question is what's important. I don't care how you remember it or what you visualize when you're remembering this acronym every time you post on social media.
Right.
I just think it's important that you pause and think it through seriously, because people are judging you by what they see. And if you've got your default set to everything being public, you are giving people who are researching you and Googling you access to all of that.
And they may not be Googling you or researching you for good reasons.
Yeah.
So we want you to think tits.
Oh,
think
goodness.
it through seriously. That is the acronym to define the approach. And that, to me, Courtney Kramer, yes? She's the one that gave us that.
Courtney Kramer, yeah.
Brian Kramer's wife. Brian Kramer gave us a nice quote for the front of the book, Creating Connections. Brian Kramer, of course, is the author of Human to Human and a TED speaker, excuse me. And so that is, I think that's important, that you do think it through seriously. Is this something that I'm okay living out there forever?
Yeah, it's the toothpaste thing. We've done this with live demos and we've talked about it, and it's in the blog. But once you squeeze it out of the tube, you can't put it back. And, social media is like that. I know there are some platforms where your stories disappear after a certain amount of time, but it doesn't disappear. People have seen it, read it, taken a screenshot.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't.
You just can't. I mean, you can try to put it back in the tube, but it never goes all the way back. So before you hit post, before you hit submit, before you make something, before you go live, think it through seriously. How, especially when you're talking and thinking about it from a client perspective, what would a client think if they saw that? Does it endear me to them, or is it going to be damaging? Is it going to be annoying? Is it going to be helpful? We're not just talking about super inappropriate things, but just in general. You can be a pest on social media. That happens.
It does happen.
And, so think it through. Who's seeing this post? How many times have they seen it? What are they?
Audience.
Yeah. Use whatever tools you need. Screen your posts. Use lists. If you're a yellow, do the rule that I recommend yellows when we speak. Only say half of what you think. Maybe you just shouldn't post everything that you type out. Maybe just the exercise of typing it out is enough for you to vent a little bit, and don't hit post.
Yeah.
Think it through seriously.
And I think I learned this from Jim Cerrone. Type it on a separate, open up the notes app on your phone and then type it.
Yep.
And then
hit a Word doc or something.
Some people need that validation of hitting enter, that's okay. I get it, but do that. Save yourself having to deal with it. Something that you may regret down the line.
Or that just looks bad, or it's not for the right audience, Mitch. I mean, sometimes as event pros, we want to vent about something that happened at an event, and we need to vent about it. But making a public post on your personal page is no. But there are forums that you may be able to share certain stories. And, again, think that through seriously as to how it's going to affect the relationships there. Maybe it's just one person that's a close colleague that you send a private message to.
Would be recommended.
And that's how you vent. So again, depending on the situation,
Even sharing in a forum, I mean, if your competitor gets invited after you and then they go back, now they've got access to it. And if they want to be vindictive or malicious,
and I'm not even talking, Mitch, about just sharing bad stuff.
Right.
Sometimes we want to share the good stuff, but if you're always the one saying, oh, I did this and I booked this and I nailed this and, patting yourself on the back constantly, that can turn people off too. Yes. So yeah, there's ways to celebrate and share and help, but just like anything that you do or say in any platform or in face-to-face, phone, whatever, you have to think about things from how is the other person going to receive this.
Agreed.
Pause, put yourself in their shoes and think about it before you post, share, go live.
Think it through seriously. Thank you, Courtney Kramer. Greatly appreciate your advice. Glad we could pass it along to you here on Creating Connections Podcast, episode 155. I am Mitch Taylor.
And I'm Vicki Musney.
We provide personal solutions through understanding people. We'll see you next time.
Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to the Creating Connections podcast with Gitomer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor and Certified Personality Trainer Vicki Musney. For more information on providing personal solutions through understanding people better, visit creatingconnections.biz.